Hey, thanks for slithering in. Today, I am sharing my take on the Les Sierra's 300 Shell Challenge created by my good friend Sierra. She is celebrating hitting 300 follows on Instagram. If you're over there, go and check out her profile. I'll have it linked down below. And while you're at it, subscribe to her YouTube channel here as well. Also, if you like a good shell challenge, I highly encourage you to try this one out. It's a good size, especially if you're like me and currently in the mood to work on something a little more bite-sized. If you are aware, I have recently been slowly chipping away at a very large family cottage in The Sims 4. The exterior speed build is available if you're interested, but I decided to decorate the shell in Headford on Bagley so that I could do a little tiny cottage for one sim. When I placed down this door from Movie Hangout, it solidified the type of sim living here in my mind. A grandmother who has 1 to 2 young grandbabies who loves to knit and maybe moved out to the country once they retired. Perhaps she's widowed or divorced. That backstory is entirely completely up to you. I wanted to do something interesting with the entry for this build, so I stuck it on the side with a small porch. I used half walls in the back of it, which I think was allowed, hopefully with the shell challenge rules, and made a custom pergola with some fencing from either Get Famous or Strangerville. It's one of those, but I think both options can get you a very similar look. We're just going to zoom around a little bit, finish up our roofing and our window placements, and then get some foundation trim, which I used a lot of horse ranch for that. And then I think the other one on the porch is a base game one, the stilted foundation. So maybe now's a good time to let you know that there was absolutely no pack limitations happening here either. We've got, like I said, horse ranch fencing and columns, windows from Get Famous, shutters from Royalty and Legacy, among many others. Of course, we are leaning into a lot of cottage living as well. I end up getting, I think, a brick wall for most of the house around here. I think this flower box is also from that. Adventures Await also makes a lot of strong appearances here, especially with that flooring. I love using that flooring for porches. I just feel like it makes so much sense. And then here we are getting the pergola finished as well. So the exterior pretty much has been planned out. It came together pretty simple, pretty quickly. We have some wisteria happening around here, and we'll get a lot more kind of wrapped around the back of the house a little later too. I did have to play around with the tool mod a little bit to get the placement just right here since we're technically not on a wall, but you know what? That's okay. You do not need the tool mod in order to download this build, which is up on the gallery. It actually wasn't too expensive now that I'm thinking about it because I used all these packs, yes, but it only came out to like 29,000 ish simoleons, which honestly, not too bad. That's basically almost a starter home. Moving on to the interior now, I was really itching to do some interior decorating in a small space. I was just so excited. I stopped working on the exterior altogether to kind of play around in here. So we've got a bit of a floor plan going on. We're grabbing some plants right off the bat. I end up changing the door placement here once I start putting the kitchen down because I realized I didn't have quite enough space. And now we're back outside, but I promise you it won't be too long that we're out here. We're just going to grab a couple of details. I played around with roof plants, but it's so tricky to like get that to work and look decent at all. So I decided to hell with it, honestly. And then we had some weird shadow glitching happening with some of the cottage living roof decor pieces. So I decided to skip that little detail, get some, I think, what are those, corbels in the roof pitches, and then just some other details like this awning. I think this one came from Cats and Dogs. It might be the only item that I use that is actually from Cats and Dogs, although I am regretting not making enough room in here for a cat because I think if this sim did have any kind of pets, it would be a cat, which I have cats on my brain right now because there's a possibility, very slight possibility, we might be getting a kitten. I don't know yet, It's a big decision that we have to actually make. Uh, uh, a friend of ours had some kittens recently from their cat and asked if we wanted one. And I don't know if you guys are aware, we put my elderly cat down in early January, so it's only been about 5 months. So I'm kind of like up in the air right now, but I would love a kitten too. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you about that. It's just on my mind. We are getting the interior decorated now. We lean into a lot of blues, yellows, greens, those kind of soft, almost pastel-y color vibes, but I wouldn't necessarily call it full pastel. What really drove that color scheme were these curtains from Adventure Awaits. I just felt like they look so grandma core to me. I don't know. You guys are gonna have to let me know if you think that. And this is where we finally moved the door a little bit. At first, I kind of wish I kept this kitchen layout. I think it is kind of cute and interesting. I just couldn't figure out how to fit cabinetry and then um appliances. That's the word here. So we end up moving this around, but I kind of do wish I kept it. Honestly, I'm kind of regretting that as well. I think I maybe could have made it work because I end up having the same amount of counters anyway. So I don't know. I don't know where my head was at when I did that. What does stay the same in the kitchen is the use of the cottage living counters. I loved using them in this like light blue swatch. I thought that matched the sofa pretty well. But I did struggle a bunch with the cabinets. At first, I was trying to use a mix of the country kitchen kit and for rent cabinets, but couldn't quite get those to work the way I wanted. As you can see, I'm trying to use this corner piece that it just wasn't lining up very well with other cabinet pieces. So, oh well, I had to kind of pivot away from that idea. I even considered maybe possibly using open shelving, which could have worked really well in a small space like this. However, I ended up then just using the cabinets from Royalty and Legacy. And honestly, in hindsight, I'm actually surprised how many light wood tone cabinet swatches match really well with those cottage living countertops. I'm going to have to probably keep that in mind for the future. For our backsplash, we use this very colorful one with lots of blues and yellows. There's touches of maybe like a coral color in there too, and some green as well. I think that one is from Growing Together or one of the kitchen or one of the clutter kits. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. That is so embarrassing. And then I paired it with some cottage living wallpaper, which I kind of continued throughout the build a little bit. I think I used a different cottage living wallpaper in the bedroom though. The living space is very tiny, but I still think I managed to make it cozy. I'm using the coffee table from Horse Ranch and grabbing lots of knitting and cross-stitching items. I even decorated with some of those items too from Nifty Knitting, like the hanging plant by the front door, and then this cute little wall planner item that I don't use enough. I really need to use that more and remember that item in the future. But back to the kitchen real quick to grab some clutter items, mostly from the kitchen clutter kit. A must have if you're a builder like me who loves a cluttered lived in feel in kitchens. I just find it so realistic. My kitchen in real life is so cluttered, and to be fair, I do need some better organization systems, but that's hard when part of the house is under some renovations. But the kitchen gets all the necessary clutter items, paper towels, cutting boards, food storage, and even some baking clutter because grandma has to make sure she has the best snacks for her grandbabies. My grandmother made the best chocolate chip cookies in the world. Of course, maybe I'm a little biased, but my aunts can come pretty close to perfectly using her recipe, but there's just like that pinch of magic missing, you know? Grandmas just have a way about them that makes treats just extra yummy. I'm utilizing the top of the fridge for extra clutter, much like I typically do when I don't know where to put something in the moment, but in a small space like this, it only makes sense to me. I'm also making sure there are some plants around too, because every build needs loads of plants. In the kitchen, I put some on top of the fridge, and then I do one of my favorite tricks with this small plant from the Greenhouse Haven kit, and make it look like it's sitting on the spice rack organizer. So here is your daily reminder to make sure you have the cheat bb.move objects on enabled. With that, you can hold Alt and 9 on PC to raise objects up higher, but make sure it's not snapped to a table or counter or it will not work. Taking our focus back into the living room, this couch needed some cute little pillows. I'm using the Space Game ones that came with one of the rewarded events. I'm not sure which one, I can't remember. And I used the tool mod to rotate them a bit so that they don't look as stiff and they feel a little more neutral. I thought those pillows were a perfect touch in here. And then I knew we needed some sort of entertainment in here so that your sim can have some fun doing something. So I ended up getting this like old looking TV. This one is from the Basement Haven Basement Treasure kit. Wow, there are so many different Treasure and Haven kits, aren't there? There's probably just two, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we are now working on the bathroom here. I saw a picture somewhere online with floral decals on a toilet tank that I thought was super cute, and I honestly can't wait to do something similar in real life. But I attempted to do that here with the decals from Life and Death. However, you can't even see it when the walls are down, so I just put it on the wall above the toilet and called it a day. But as you can see, this bathroom is very pink and, in my personal opinion, very grandma core. We are using the country kitchen cabinet here in this one with a little bathroom sink. We get a cute little mirror. I eventually find one that I think I like. I use this one from Get Together. I actually think that's one of my favorite mirrors in the whole entire game. I don't know, I just think it fits like almost any kind of bathroom style. And then we're picking out some wallpaper where we get Parenthood, and I think this is the one that stays. I do try a few different other options, but didn't quite like any of the other ones. And then I think we just get a rug in here, make sure we have some toilet paper, maybe some plungers, and a soap dish, a plant. Of course, we need another plant. And then this one here is so cute. It's from the Tea Time Solarium kit, and I just think it looks absolutely adorable in here and helps bring in some of the purpley hues from the wallpaper. Now we have our soap toothbrush holder. We'll also get some lighting. I did have to turn down the brightness on the base game wall sconce that I grab here. It would hurt my eyes how bright this thing is in real life, so I would never make any of our Sims deal with it either. I think that's only fair. I thought about adding some more clutter above the toilet, but opted not to, and this is where we just add in the plunger. But we're going to move on to the final room of this build, the bedroom. I knew I wanted to use the cottage living bed and just had to pick out a swatch. Honestly, any of the swatches would have worked really well in here, but I decided to leave this green and pink floral spread. It had to be stuffed in the corner because of the shape of the room, unfortunately. Under the bay window, I did put the dresser. We get a shelf above the bed here that we're going to add some clutter in. And then I also pull out a mirror, which I think is from the Bella Goth kit. I can't remember the name of that kit actually. Wait, Secret Sanctuary. It just came to me. Look at that. Voila. But I really like this mirror, and I thought it added some kind of like very feminine, whimsical, like obviously antiquish grandma core vibes. It just tied it all together. And then of course we get some plants. On the dresser, I'm going to end up adding some more knitting clutter to show the hobby kind of bleeding into the other room. We are picking out a rug, which I forget which one I actually end up using. Just kidding. It's because I do not use a rug. I end up going with carpeting. Surprise, surprise. I really like this one with kind of like the floral textures. I think that is a base game one. Here we are picking out the cottage living wallpaper. There are like two variations of this wallpaper, and it's kind of like the way the vines kind of curve up the wall is the different variations. So I went through and did like every other wall panel to be different to kind of make it look like it's meant to be, I guess. Question mark, you know. Along this wall we just get a piece of wall art because we needed to kind of keep that floor clear because that's where you walk to get to the bathroom. Like I said, over here on the dresser, we get some more clutter. On the shelf over here, we get even more clutter. I get some board game clutter, some books, this cute little cat picture. This is why I wish I added a cat in here because I feel like this sim would just be a little crazy cat lady. I think it'd be so cute. But that picture frame, if you're wondering, is from the Comfy Gamer kit. And then we get some more plants up here, as well as I ended up getting this book stack from, I think that came from the fairy pack. And I thought it was just kind of so cute in here and added to more of the whimsy cottage core feel that I'm going for. We're back to the dresser. We're just gonna clutter this up a little bit more, but then we're gonna finish the exterior, which I'm really excited about. I think that came together pretty nicely, and I can't wait to talk through some of that with you. I'm at the point where I'm starting to get a little rambly, and if I'm starting to feel or sound a little nasally, it's because I was literally just sneezing a bunch, and I don't know where that came from. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we're all good there. I'm also doing the voiceover the day of uploading this. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If you guys are seeing this on Sunday, May 3rd, then I succeeded in my plan. If not, then oops. I'm trying to finish up the recording though because I am actually going to go see The Devil Wears Prada 2 this afternoon, so I'm trying to make sure I get this taken care of first. We are back outside. We're getting some flat garden path stones to kind of line our walkway over here. I we moved the house over a little bit because I think it just made sense. And then we're going to add some more wisteria. We'll get a lot of cottage living landscaping from the debug menu happening, as you know, my favorite, including some like grassy patches over this walkway because I didn't want it to look too overgrown, but just like a little overgrown. Like maybe it's in the process of becoming overgrown, or we've already kind of fixed it and now it's kind of starting to grow fast again or something. I don't know. Up to your interpretation. We get some trees and stuff along here too as well. And then I eventually grab some terrain tools and we get like a little pond going, which I think is super cute. So you'll see that in just a little bit. I'm like talking ahead of myself right now, so I apologize. I'm using the Horse Ranch low-lying plant from the debug menu. I thought the shade of green worked better paired with the purple hydrangea bushes I pulled out. It just, with the regular one from the regular catalog, it's just too light of a green. And I also do the same for this tall bush as well. I pull out the one from base game debug that has a darker green to it as well to also match some of the low lying bushes, and we get this little cute archway from debug and just a ton of different landscaping happening out here. We're also going to grab a trash can and a mailbox before I forget because I tend to do that sometimes. I'll also add in a bench from Horse Ranch just for some seating options out here. In hindsight, I do wish I put like maybe a picnic table or a little outdoor dining table situation, but I saved the best for last because now we're on to my favorite part of the build. I had this idea to have like a little fish slash duck pond here. Maybe you can think of them as pets for grandma, but I do love the idea of her sitting out here first thing in the morning or even at night to feed them or just hang out. Maybe she talks to them too. I'm using the tool mod and debug fencing from Get Together to decorate it. Then I'll add in some landscaping around. We'll use the same low-lying bushes and purple hydrangeas to kind of tie it all together. But this part was probably the most finicky part too, as we're trying to like lower things and kind of cover up some of the water and smooth out the terrain a little bit. But ultimately, I kind of like the weird round shape. It's not like perfectly round, but it's also not like too wonky either. So I really like how this turned out. I will add the ducks and fish in here as well as some butterflies in the landscaping too. This is pretty much going to look so cute in live mode, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it. Beside the pond, or kind of like behind it, I do get like a little garden area so that grandma can come and maybe grow her tomatoes or her veggies or fruits or even just flowers if she so chooses, whatever she would like. I don't have any lot traits on here. I usually tend to forget to add lot traits to my builds, so maybe you can do like simple living here, perhaps. You definitely have more room to add some more gardening if that's kind of the gameplay you are looking for, if you do choose to use this build for any reason at all. So we're just going to add some terrain paint now, kind of make this pool look a little, not pool, this pond look a little darker. I almost wish I changed the water texture. I always forget I could do that, but I didn't. I think this still works just fine. I thought about enclosing it perfectly, but then your Sims can't technically go and play in the pond, but I guess they could because those are debug items anyway, so they can probably just walk through them. But this way it just looks a little nicer, I think. We've got all of our pond effects down now, some fish, tadpoles, and ducks. I had to break out the tool mod again so that the ducks aren't floating above the water, but we should be okay here. I also add some algae and lily pads in the pond for even more detail and more personality. I thought it turned out super cute. Next, we are going to build out the gardening area with some more debug fencing, grab some wall ivy for the back of the house. If you made it this far, I do want to thank you again for hanging out with me today, and big thank you to Sierra for this super fun shell challenge. I absolutely had a blast. So you guys don't forget to go and check her out and check out this challenge as well. I honestly really need to do more shell challenges like this in the future. I tend to like save them and then never get to them for some reason. So hopefully we'll get to some more soon. But let's build out this garden area here. We've got these, I think these fences are from, they might be from Cottage Living. If not, they're from Get Together. I can't remember. We're going to copy some landscaping over towards the back here and just get some more wisteria, some wall ivy. I think it came out so cute, especially since we have like less windows back here. I really wanted to kind of use that space. We're gonna fence in this little area here, get like 3 garden planters, I think, from the outdoor retreat game pack. I actually really like those planters. Those might be my favorite ones. They just feel like so like DIY, if that makes sense. You'll see it when I pull them out in just a little bit because we got to get some landscaping in first, obviously. But yeah, I think we're pulling them out now. Yes. See, don't they look so DIY to you? I think they look DIY to me. But anyway, I'm rambling again, so I definitely apologize for that. We're going to wrap up the landscaping here, probably off camera, and then I'm going to load up live mode and we're going to check out this build in real time. So I will see you there. Just a reminder, this is the shell we started with, and this is the shell completed. I think it came out so cute. It's just a little grandma cottage. We have a little side porch here happening, which now I'm realizing I didn't put any like entrance decor or anything in here. Like, how did I forget about this festive feeling welcome mat that comes in such cute little swatches? And of course, we have to go with the gnome one. I think that's just so perfect. And we didn't even get an outdoor light here. This is embarrassing. I'll stick with this one from Get Together. Cute. Okay, I think we're good. But this is how the house came out. We have some cute little landscaping, really leaning into some of the purple hydrangeas here. We have our custom made little fish pond, but we've got some ducks swimming in it. If you look, you can actually see the fish. And we have a ton of butterflies flying around as well too, which I think is such a nice touch. There's our tree. In the back here we have a little gardening area. Nothing too fancy, just something really tiny, perfect for, I think, a grandmother who just like dabbles in planting. Maybe she puts like tomatoes or something over here. Look at that. And Bob actually got some tomatoes. So I'm actually going to have him come and plant some of these things. There we go. Thank you, Bob. That is so kind of you. Let's take a peek at the floor plan. We enter into like this little living and kitchen area, which I think came out so nice. Then you walk into your bedroom over here, and then we have a full bathroom, which is impressive because we have such a small amount of space to work with. Oh, the welcome wagon's here. Cool. I'm actually gonna leave it. They can do their thing. Over here is our cute little bathroom. I think this came out so sweet with all the pinks and things. I should probably make sure it's functional. Bob's sad from having bad luck, but whatever. Here we go. Bob's using the bathroom here now. I really loved putting these flowers on the sink. I felt like that kind of tied in the whole room together here. And then our shower is completely functional as well. We do have some greenery poking through the walls, but you know, just ignore it. It's okay. Very good. Thank you, Bob. Of course you made a mess. Okay. How about you come and relax in bed here? Let's make sure that the bed is actually functional. I love how this room came out. I especially love the little clutter on the shelf up here that feels very grandma core to me. And of course we have the clutter, like the knitting clutter over here as well. We'll have Bob sit here. I think if he rocks on the chair, it's going to probably clip into the wall, unfortunately. Yeah, but if you don't mind that, then I don't either. So all good here. It's still functional. It still works. Next, we have our kitchen and living room over here. I love this plant with the clock up here. Bob's gonna come and watch some TV. I think this little sofa here is just such a perfect little fit. Plus, like the little flower pillows up here and stuff and all of that good decor. We also have plenty of knitting clutter around as well. And then last but not least, we have no, don't dislike motivated Sims. I don't think that's a reason to dislike anyone. But over here we have our kitchen and of course our little entryway. Look at this, could be potentially like little grandbaby maybe. I think so, or two grandbabies. But let's make sure that this kitchen is actually functional. Let's have dinner and let's make some vegetable dumplings. I do enjoy the clutter in here. I feel like there's plenty of storage for everything you need, but obviously we're using some of the top of the fridge as well. Okay, Bob, nice skills. I see you. And of course, you gotta have a cookie jar because I feel like that would be like grandkids 101. Like you need to have cookies. And we have a fully functional kitchen in here, which is super nice. The only thing we don't really have is a dining room. I guess I could have put maybe a dining table out here somewhere, but I didn't. So if that's something you want to add, feel free. I don't mind when my Sims sit on the couch to eat because that's honestly what I do too. So, Eliza, no, I don't want to hang out. That's pretty much where my head was at. Bob's gonna play in the water with some ducks, so I think that's a good time to kind of call it and leave it. Again, if you are interested in doing this shell, don't forget to check out hashtag Lyceris300 shell on the gallery. The deadline for that is the end of the month, so May 30th, but it's still a really fun shell to play around with. And don't forget to go and follow Sierra here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And then if you want to grab it for yourself on the gallery, it is here in the way that I decorated. We have a ton of packs being used, however, so keep that in mind. But it is just tiled Grandma Cottage, or you can also find it with the hashtag LesSierras300. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And a big shout out to my channel members as well for supporting me in that way. Stay tuned. I am kind of in the mix of trying to update my channel membership stuff, so hopefully we got some good stuff coming at you pretty soon. But I will talk to you all in the next one. Bye!